now we're going to be installing the new intercoolers. We have Markski Tuning intercoolers. They're 2 inches bigger, or 4.5 inch intercooler. I'm going to show you how you go from that to that, because it's not super complicated, but it needs some finessing. First is busting the plastics apart, which are just these clips. Now, there's only 2, but I do zip ties through all of them, and these back ones, for the zip ties, you have to make a hole under there, because the front side has a hole, these ones don't. There we go. All right. So what we're going to be doing is this little ridge that goes all the way around. We're going to be knocking that flat. And we're going to do the same thing with the bottom one. The bottom one has the same ridge because they have these like indents, and that's just to make sure that the air goes through the intercooler and the leaves apparently. And then to get these intercoolers off, it's got 4 of them, but we have little E-clips. And I know there's a special tool for E-clips, but you just kind of put a flathead in there and twist, and it comes off. This one's the hard one, but really you can't get it off without the other 3 out of the way. I don't know why. Usually when it's the hard one, you do that one first and the rest go easy. So essentially, other than trimming the bottom piece on this one, or the little lip, whatever you want to call it, I also trimmed this edge, because this curves and it's supposed to line up with the one on the other plastic, but since it's 2 inches further apart, I trim it back probably an inch, 1.25 inches, and just knock that entire piece out. That way it kind of allows it to go straight up, and then run the weather stripping back over it. So I'm gonna trim those pieces. These are kind of no longer used. And then I'm gonna show you how, because we have to pretty much cut 1 inch out of this and, you know, keep it straight and all that stuff. So we're going to do that, and I'm gonna show you how to get the line decently straight, and then how to get the 1 inch above it as well. So it's very technical and scientific, so you'll see. Step 1, cut things up. Step 2, step 3, profit. You following me? All right. All right, next step, after we've cleared away the little lip there, is I'm gonna take a micrometer.
No, God, please, no, no!
And so I set it at 1 inch, and essentially we're going to go 1 inch lower than these metal clips, because there's one on each side.
You might want to correct yourself. Caliper. Because somebody online...
This is true. It's a caliper, dial caliper, whatever. Micrometer is the little twisty one, whatever. It's still a very precise measurement, and it is whatever the hell I say it is, as anybody else who goes, hand me the thingy-madoodle, all right? This micrometer, dial caliper, whatever the hell you want to call it, it measures stuff, and that's all I care.
But how do you really feel?
Right. How do I really feel? All right, so I'm just going to kind of mark it here. And so the reason why we're doing 1 inch is because you know, the radiator is 2 inches, or the intercooler's it's still a radiator, is 2 inches larger, so 1 inch on either side. And we're going to cut away, technically, 1 inch here. I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. But, so that's going to be the cut mark. And so I want to do one on the front and back, and then we're going to go over to my cutting jig so that I can mark the line straight down here, and I don't have to try to guess where it's supposed to be. All right. We'll go over to the precision measurer so that we can get that even. Tony's just in the way again. It's okay, he's making me money, I'm good. So this is my precision measuring device. I set it up against, I don't know what this is called, you can correct me there, but the edge of the door thingy.
Well, you're not a carpenter?
I'm far from, although I do think they get paid way more than I do, and that's not fair. So this edge on here actually lines up with my mark, and so I'm just going to eyeball it, and that's where I'm going to draw so that I can get my cut on this plastic. Precision.
Just out of curiosity, how much does this tool cost?
This tool costs several $1,000s a month, and I would love to own one in the future, but we are not at the point of owning our own. All right, now it's apart. Now I'm going to call it what I want to call it because it's going to annoy some of you. So I'm going to grab the micrometer.
No!
And essentially, we're just going to run the mark 1 inch up from where I cut. And that should give us a decent idea of where this is going to set. Because essentially, all we're doing here is sliding this piece into that piece 1 inch. That way, one, it's not just a butt up piece, and if we take out 1 inch, it's now a smaller piece because it's tapered, and it'll never meet up. Where sliding this in will give us a little extra strength and something to put a screw into. So another thing that I did was I trimmed this piece flat with this. That way it makes it easier to slide underneath it because that is pretty large size tumor on the side. Glide it along here. Now I will be doing a check and actually marking this with a paint pen before I actually put it together, and I put some RTV on there just to make sure that it's air sealed, because this only directs air to the intercooler. It has nothing to do with the actual engine functionality. But I still like to keep it decently solid. Try to line up the difficult one first, but it doesn't slot in until I've got the other three where they need to be. Okay. Okay. So now our two pieces, they should slide together much easier than before when I had these still on. And so that is 1 inch drop, which essentially we just shove this on here. And we're gonna put this on the car to mock up and line up where this sets at. Come here. So you can see it's flush right here. at least with where the little seal is. And this is why I do my second mark, because this side is a little lower and this side is a little further in. And this is where you can mark the circle here, because we're going to put that little cap back in, but we need to know where exactly to cut that circle out. This one is done. The other one, all I gotta do is make some holes in these ones. So what I did with the other side was this little knob here, or whatever, this thicker part, I ground down to where it was level with this piece. And then I'll show you how I actually got a zip tie like hole in there, and it was pretty easy to do. So let me clear these away real quick and then I'll show you that. This is my zip tie hole making tool. And yeah, just kind of poke it through wherever you want it to poke through. And then you will magically have a rectangle-ish shaped hole. Look at that. So fancy. Yup. If you're following along at home, this will be the final time we put it in. So technically, in the scheme of things, I didn't trim under here, but it's essentially because the bumper, this sits on the bumper and it has enough space that we can move this down an inch. The other thing too is we can't really go lower than this piece, and cutting an inch out of this section would be kind of a giant waste of time, and also it can be seen through the bumper. So just kind of skipping over that and trimming it and then getting it zip tied in is going to be the kind of the easier, nicer way to do it. So now we've got both sides in, and this is the point where you can, you know, put your bumper on in the inner wheel well for the rear of the wheel arch. We're going to continue finishing this car. I still got to put the engine in and stuff like that. You don't have to take the engine out to do this. This is essentially just a good video of how to put these intercoolers on. I don't know if there's any other intercoolers out there that are, you know, the same style and they would require a similar thing. But these fit really nicely, and the owner actually did tell me how to do all this stuff. I just figured a video showing it is a little easier on him, and you get to see it. Makes more sense when you see it. But look out for the next video, because we're gonna have the engine going back into it, and then it should be going off to its first track day. And then we'll get it back and we'll do some more stuff to it.